Welcome to Diplomatic Passport, the final of the week here on Zim Papers Television Network. My name is Robert Mkondiwa. Now, this is your daily weekday COVID-19 show that keeps you up to date really with issues and developments around the world, in our country, and of course, even within the region. As always, we start by looking at our statistics with regards to coronavirus, of course, as availed to us by the Ministry of Health and Childcare. So, the statistics are in, and Zimbabwe now has 7,633 confirmed cases of COVID-19, including 224 deaths and 5,841 recoveries, which puts the national recovery rate at 77%. 1,011 PCR tests were done in the last 24 hours, and 35 new cases were recorded. Now, these are 32 local transmission cases and 2 returnees from South Africa and 1 returnee from Namibia. Now, of course, Harare is still the epicenter with 3,219 cases, followed by Bulawayo, which now has 1,381 cases of COVID-19. Now, elsewhere, if you recall, I had Takuzwa Chihambakwe in the studio time after time, and we were talking about issues about salary negotiations between the government of Zimbabwe and, of course, her nurses. And really, we were thinking, how is this going to end? We said it was early days yet, but finally we have got a statement, and actually I have the statement here, and it says, it's coming from them, that salary negotiations between government and its employees hit a deadlock after civil servants have rejected the 40% increment. Bad news. That news we didn't want to hear when Takuzwa Chihambakwe was here. It's something that we were saying we really are hoping, fingers crossed, that they're going to reach an agreement. It was early days yet, and it seems we were right to be cautiously optimistic. They go on to say that the meeting held yesterday was the second, with negotiations having started last week for the first time since the first quarter of 2020. Now, the Acting Health Services Director, that's Dr. Kudzai Masunda, some of you have seen him on the show, during an update on the city's response to COVID-19, said that the industrial action by nurses had forced them to close most of their clinics, but he's hoping that the nurses' grievances will be addressed soon. And this, of course, is something that we went on and on about with Takuzwa Chihambakwe, but now it seems we're going back to the old normal, in the new normal, where we've got all our clinics, all our facilities, especially in the capital, closed. Now, let's hear what he had to say about these negotiations.
We still have facilities that are not open in the city of Harare. So far, as of today, we have got about 15 facilities that are open. We still have facilities that are not open in the city of Harare. So far, as of today, we have got about 15 facilities that are open.
So we also have other issues that are related to this issue of our nurses. We need to have our nurses healthy, especially in this age of COVID-19, because you cannot have patients becoming healthy when our nurses are not healthy. And either way, the other way around, we cannot have that matrix overturned. Now, yesterday was World Patient Safety Day, and we have the head of the United Nations World Health Organization speaking on that, and their theme was making sure that we've got a healthy workforce to ensure that the good health, energy, and tireless dedication of our workforce is something that will then be realized. Now, let's hear Tedros speaking, and let's hear what he has to say with regards celebrating these frontline staff who really have been at the front line and forefront of all the bad that has been coming, especially in an age where we didn't have enough PPEs.
Every second of every hour, in every day of every year, patients are harmed all over the world because of unsafe care. 1 in 10 people hospitalized worldwide experience a safety failure or adverse event. This is a problem for all countries, rich and poor. If it's not safe, it's not care. One of the keys to keeping patients safe is keeping health workers safe. The COVID-19 pandemic has reminded all of us of the vital role health workers play to relieve suffering and save lives. We all owe health workers an enormous debt, not just because they have cared for the sick, but because they risk their own lives in the line of duty. Globally, around 14% of COVID-19 cases reported to WHO are among health workers, and in some countries it's as much as 35%. Although data are limited and it's hard to know whether health workers are infected in their workplaces or communities. It's not just the risk of infection. Every day, health workers are exposed to stress, burnout, stigma, discrimination, and even violence. No country, hospital, or clinic can keep its patients safe unless it keeps its health workers safe. Now, more than ever, we have a duty to give health workers the safe working conditions, the training, the pay, and the respect they deserve.
Certainly, our frontline workers deserve to be celebrated because, as I said earlier, of their hard work, their energy, their tireless dedication, and their success and that dedication is a Zimbabwean dream come true in the context, for example, of Zimbabwe. We know we have been battling to make sure that they have PPEs. We've brought people here onto the show like Prosper Chonzi to make sure that here in this new normal, the people that really are putting their lives on the line, and literally so, are at least catered for, and at least their safety is something that we worry about. Now, if you're only joining us here on Zim Papers Television Network and have no clue what show you're watching, this is the show that you're watching. So next week we'll be having this special broadcast that's going to be coming through. We're going to be having a very special woman, a very close friend of mine, Sandra Ndebele. She's going to be here at Zim Papers Television Network, and you're going to be seeing her. We're going to be catching up with what's been going on around her and see more of her in the flesh, really moving, and not those pictures that went around. Now, speaking of Bulawayo, Bulawayo has come home to Harare. We always love it when we are visited. You remember, as Diplomatic Passport, we had to go through the new normal, visiting different areas. We went to Mtoko, we went to Mutare, we even went to Bulawayo about twice or even thrice, and even Victoria Falls. But we decided today to bring in that flavor into the studio. We've been talking about how artists are faring and how artists are seeing this new normal, and the same challenges, and even sometimes even different challenges, are confronting people in the south of our country. And I'm pleased to welcome in the studio today John Mabuyane, actor, director, producer, anything that's in the dictionary and it looks nice and fancy. And that's you, and I've got Mentor Dlamini. Welcome to Diplomatic Passport. Welcome to Harare. Mentor is actually a musician, an artist, and we've been seeing a lot coming from your way. So tell us, what brings you to Harare, Mentor? Why are you here? There must be something happening. I know there's excitement about coming to ZTN and seeing Robert, but I'm sure you didn't get all the way from Bulawayo to say let's go and see the ZTN team.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm so happy that I'm here in Harare visiting my brothers. The real reason why I came to Harare is because I had a workshop. So apart from being a musician, I'm also, I might say, an entrepreneur or a business person. So I used my art as a way of advocacy. So with that, I formed an organization called Yellow World, which basically focuses on developing communities through art. Okay. So I came for a workshop so that we are actually working on a new project which is called Key to the City, of which we are implementing it in Harare and in Bulawayo. So in Harare it's being facilitated by House of Arts Association, and then in Bulawayo it's being facilitated by Yellow World. So the reason why I came here is because we're strategizing. We were coming up with new networks. We were coming up with stakeholders, new stakeholders. We wanted to partner with different stakeholders so that we can actually reach out to our audience.
Okay. And I do know I was privy to a bit of the goings on there, and we shall talk a bit more about what that initiative is all about. But we also have in the house John. And John, that breakthrough with the Gonere show, that was quite a bit of something. And I know you're giggling because you're just thinking, oh my goodness, finally you get to talk about that, because I know you were keeping a lot of that as secret. But
yes.
no, before we get into a lot of it, let's see a bit of what John has done.
It's time, boy.
Today, I'm joined by a mother whose child went missing for 3 months.
Anyone knows where my daughter is, please. Please just call the police. I'm begging you.
Thank you for the night. I can't wait to see you. But we are family.
So now, while it was Gonere show that really, gave you that very big breakthrough, it was big news around the country, obviously. Tell us about what War Cry. What is the theme? What's the story? What inspired War Cry? Because I seem to think it fits very, very closely with what we're talking about here.
Okay, so War Cry is a short film written obviously by me, directed, acted, and produced by me. So what I realized is when they declared the first 21 days lockdown during that time, I realized that most people, they were relaxed and stuff, especially us as filmmakers, as story writers and stuff. So I then decided to really research and see what exactly or how exactly people and women have been affected by this lockdown in general. So when I was watching South African television news, I then saw a wave of war cry of women, South African women, mothers, sisters, children who were crying. They were actually protesting against femicide and gender-based violence. So when I actually did a research with Watabile Dlamini, we actually realized that when cases of GBV are actually spontaneously rising at a rocketing rate during this lockdown. So I then decided, me as a filmmaker, as an actor, as a writer, how best can I send this this information to the people, to the recipients, which are the people out there. Then I decided to take my laptop and started typing, and then that is how War Cry was born. So basically, War Cry is a true story that happened in Bulawayo about a girl who was murdered by her brother and then buried in the backyard in the garden. So I decided to take that true story and then put it, because it was going hand in glove with the current situation. So in that particular juncture, War Cry is basically about a girl child during this lockdown, and then she visits her boyfriend. Her boyfriend is actually a person who has been abusing her over and over again. So at the end, this girl is actually mistaken.
That's a spoiler. No,
okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's a very, obviously a very serious issue, a very serious topic, a very dark topic while we're at it. And these are issues that we were actually even talking about. We talked about it a lot here on ZT, and we even had some other roundtables, if you will, where we talked about these issues. But did you... What sort of difficulties did you get when you were at least trying to get that story out, especially at a time of lockdown? There are movement restrictions. You've got other players all around, strewn around Bulawayo, other actors that you really would want. Casting at a time like that is absolutely difficult. Was that difficult for you, or did you have your own catalogue already of people who you knew would really speak truth to the story that you wanted? Or what challenges did you meet with regards to that?
Okay. So basically, when I was actually producing the script, I faced challenges in terms of traveling because there were strict traveling restrictions during the time when I shot the film. But however, when I was writing it, I typecasted because I knew the exact people that I wanted to work with because I've worked with them before, and I knew they were going to deliver my vision in such a short period of time. So in terms of shooting and producing it, post-production, I didn't have a problem, but I only had a problem during traveling restrictions and stuff. But otherwise, getting sponsorship also from companies and stuff to produce the film, I didn't get any challenge because I had already worked with these companies before, and they believed in my vision, they believed in me, and then they said, just go for it, boy.
And obviously, Mentor, you've got different problems. He's a lucky guy. He's got sponsors eating from the palm of his hands, and they've got belief in him. But I've had a lot of artists come and they tell me how they've been working on, you know, during lockdown. It's given them more time to relax, more time to focus on their work, more time to produce. And it seems like there's a lot of producing that's happening during these lockdown era. And I wanted to know if you, for example, had used that time for similar things, for creative purposes, or were you looking more on your business side? What's your you know, core music business side looking like because of the restrictions?
Okay, on the music side, it has actually given me enough time so that I can like focus on my work, focus on my projects, because I had a lot of undone projects due to maybe like lack of resources, I may say. But then during this COVID-19 lockdown, I had to do new strategies. I had to come up with new strategies on how I can actually make my music public and all that. So I managed to reach out to big artists in Bulawayo, maybe I may say people like Kelvin. So I managed to do a few projects with Kelvin. I did projects with Mega Bass Records, which is a great achievement to me. And I find that lockdown is not that really bad, especially on the music side, because it has given me time to focus and time to actually network with other big artists, because they are now all digital. They've gone digital, and they are seeing what we are doing, and they are actually appreciating our artwork.
And to talk about seeing, there's that big schism that used to exist within the industry, especially the music industry, where we would hear you a lot and we would not see you a lot. And that's something that really happened, especially in the past, pre-90s, pre-2000s, to a lesser extent. And that audio-visual element.
Yeah.
Have you had time? Because we've seen John writing, and also, you know, translating that to film so that we see. Because now, because we're all mostly migrating to the other platform, digital platforms, we need to see you. We need to see and hear you.
Oh yeah. So I've been doing progress on the visual side. Actually, I've been working on my EP recently, so I haven't been focusing on the visuals mostly. I've been working on my EP and be on the business. So I was planning that once the EP is done, which I'm estimating that it will be done around end of this month. So I'm beginning my visuals process. I'll be dropping visuals for every single song on my EP.
Okay.
So I think this lockdown has given me enough time to produce content, and it will give me enough time to go to post-production as well.
And that's really a story that has resonated across, that we've gotten time. We thought we were busy. We were actually busy with nothing before COVID.
Yeah.
Now we're really busy with things that, you know, are translating into, you know, us actually producing. Because who would have thought you would come up with, you typecasted and you came up with something in perhaps even record time compared to when all things are open. Now tell me about the scene. You've worked or you've sampled the scene and the working environment in Harare, and vis-a-vis your everyday life in Bulawayo. What are the differences? What are the similarities? What are the challenges when you're comparing with what you see when you interact, when you come to Harare and you interact here?
Okay, so the difference. All right, so in Bulawayo, people are hungry. they are hungry like a lot. Those Bulawayo people, they are so talented and they're hungry. But however, they're demotivated because there is no funding. There are no producers who are rising up to promote artists in general. But then when I came this side, things are so different. Things are just flowing. Things they happen here in Harare. Things are just happening. So I was actually planning to actually move to Harare because.
Oh my goodness, we've got if you want to sign up, thank you. Now we've stolen. Bulawayo, I'm sorry, we've stolen one again from you. If you want to sign up before you leave, there's a book at the entrance. You can sign up, and then we'll look for somewhere where we'll house you. And don't worry about your rentals, and don't worry about anything. We'll have you here. But on a more serious note, why do you think there's that difference when people are hungry? To show their talent, you would think they'll perform or better or more, and the funding crunch is somewhat across the board, because even if you call the artists from Harare, they'll tell you that we're hungry to produce, and we're producing, but we don't have the money. So have you managed to ask around the difference, as in what are the people in Harare doing to circumvent the money problem and still produce? Because, for example, a lot of stuff has been happening when we're not in lockdown, and a lot of companies are struggling, but still the producers, those who want to make content, are still making content. What's the hack that you think you've seen in Harare that they are using this hack, which we should use also in Bulawayo if we want to make it?
Okay, so what I actually discovered about Harare people, producers per se, is that they don't stop. They don't stop producing. They don't stop even if they don't have money or a budget. But then us as Bulawayo people, I think we've got that tendency, that spirit of if it's a zero budget, I can't do anything. That film won't go anywhere and stuff, right? So the thing that I actually realized with Zimbabwe producers is that they are producing content because they know where they want to take it to in the next 5-6 years time. But us there in Bulawayo, we're just doing productions just for that particular moment only. So I actually think as Bulawayo artists, producers, actors and stuff, in productions that we are going to do from henceforth, we're supposed to know the vision. Will it still be valid in 5 years' time? Will it still be valid in 10 years' time? You never know. So I think we're supposed to grasp that thing and just jump into that wave.
And Minta, you were you were interacting with artists not only from Harare at the recent meeting that you're having today, but also people from Mutare. There's even an initiative that came together from all over the country, really, to produce work on the same project that you were working with. And when you were also talking to artists from even as far as field as Mutare, what are the key highlights of those interactions? What did you learn which may probably impact on you should you move back, maybe, or should you go back home to Bulawayo? Something that's really touched you and something that's really changed you as an idea.
Okay. First of all, like I like the way Mutare responds to arts or local content. Like they support each other. The artists support each other. Well, and I think basically showing support to me, while I'm from Bulawayo, it shows that those guys can actually are people who want to see you go forward. So I think I have to empower others. What I learned is that I have to empower others in Bulawayo, other artists in Bulawayo, that there is nothing that we can't do when we are together. So we have to work together. So other interactions that I had, I think I had spoken with Kido Makope, one of the biggest artists, I may say, biggest upcoming artist in Mutare, who did the Fake Friends song. So he was like doing studio sessions, going for sessions with radio stations and all that. So he has been working really hard during this COVID-19 lockdown, and he has been inspiring me for some time now, because I've seen that despite the lockdown, we can actually still make it. We can actually still engage. Actually, it's high time we engage our radio stations and we become known as local artists.
And then just before we close, you said your organization is Yellow
World.
Yellow World.
Yep.
And well, obviously, you can tell you are yellow, your pants are yellow.
Everything.
What inspired that? And tell us a bit more about that organization. And if other young people want to reach out to you, where can they find Yellow World?
Okay, so Yellow World is an arts-based organization which started in 2018. It all started when we had a project. We were actually participating in a project that was implemented by Plan International, and that was funded by Plan International and implemented by Dialogue on Shelter and Junior Achievement Zimbabwe. So the project was called Safe and Inclusive Cities. That's where we were doing some initiatives where we were being active in our community, focusing on developing our community as young people. So it became an inspiration to me as a person who was into arts mostly. So I came up. We started as a company. It was something like a company. Then, just a group of young people were just doing film, music, and other arts things. But then, as time moved on, in 2019, I guess. In 2018, before we actually became established as an organization, we became we were doing films and we were doing music as well. So we engaged a lot of stakeholders, and we started to know how to interact with them and network with them, to partner with them in initiatives that actually have to do with young people. So last year, 2019, I got an opportunity from Plan International and went to Abu Dhabi for the World Urban Forum. That's where I went with Casper from House of Arts. So he had already told me, he had brought me into the game of like the business game, and he had been mentoring me for some time, teaching me how to maintain like the business and the arts sector, you see. So when we went to Abu Dhabi, that's where we got to meet the Dreamtown guys, who are actually funding the new current project that is being implemented by House of Arts and Yellow World. So it's something that has made Yellow World a little bit capacitated. We feel like there is more that we can bring into the table as artists. So there is more that we can actually provide for our communities.
And social media, where do people get you? If it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, where just your handles?
Okay, so we have our social media handles on Facebook. It's Yellow World, and then on Instagram it's Yellow World as well, and then there is YouTube, it's Yellow World as well.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. And John, where will we see you going forward? And I'm hoping with Kiddo there's going to be a collaboration somewhere, because that's probably going to.
Oh yes. Actually, we do have a collaboration on one song.
So brilliant.
Yeah.
And you, John, where do we see you? We did see you on Gonoro, and you guys at one time were supposed to go to Turkey, and then life happened now, and and then you didn't stop. You kept on doing your own stuff. Where do we see you? Where what's next for you?
Okay, so I don't want to preempt, but to all my fans, my family, my friends, just fasten your seatbelts, because there is a Netflix gig that is actually coming on the way.
Netflix gig,
yes.
Beautiful.
So we've already started working on that film with my director, Sidney Tevanashe. So just keep yourself ready, because it's something which is big. It's something that Zimbabwe has never ever produced.
Absolutely.
Yes,
well, you seem to be absolutely confident.
I am.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for coming to Diplomatic Passport, and to you at home, certainly thanks for watching. But before I go, first and foremost, I would like to say that just last Thursday, the nation, and of course the tourism industry in particular, lost a serious icon. Gordon Adams, the hotelier, the icon that he was, as we see footage there, he passed away of a heart attack early Thursday morning. And just yesterday, on Thursday, we at Diplomatic Passport went to pay our last respects, as he was laid to rest there at Odzi in Manicaland. Gordon Adams at one time also even being general manager at Cresta Hotels, and there in Mutare, he was running what is known as Gordon's, one of the best bed and breakfast establishments, certainly, and he shall absolutely sorely be missed. I will tell you that Gordon at one time opened up his lodge for us, his bed and breakfast for us here at Diplomatic Passport. And when we were starting to talk about how that industry was opening up, he said, you know what, you're open to going through my bed and breakfast. He was one of the few that started opening when we started talking about how the tourism industry started bouncing back. Or some of you may remember that I even had one of my reports there in Mutare, there at Gordon's, sitting next to Biscuit, his beloved cat. But sadly, he has left us. Gordon, go well, go absolutely well. But we shall not end on that sad note. I have a bit of happy news because last week, when we had Mudiwa Hood here in the studio, it was a very strong and interactive session we had. And somebody's bundles ran out right in the middle, and they sent a call and said, Mudiwa, help, help. And finally, that came. It was a transfer confirmation, 1,000 RTGS from Mudiwa. He made the promise here, and people were like, Mudiwa, tumire. Now, the lady proudly sent us that screenshot and said, thank you, Mudiwa Hood, and thank you, ZTN, for bringing him in on board. Because I finally managed to buy a bit of bundles. So it's a Friday, spread a bit of love, buy a drink or two for a friend. And we at Diplomatic Passport today also have a little special something, because we did talk about how we've gone beyond 100 episodes of Diplomatic Passport. So we're going to relax to a bit of a cake as soon as the machines go dead and quiet and cold. And we hope wherever you are, you're going to have a cold one because it's a Friday. Enjoy your day, and thank you so much to my TD Stavo. Thank you for being with us today, and of course thank you for wrapping up on an absolutely amazing Friday. And Tungoni, the sound guy, who's had to do a lot of work today because of course we always are running around. Thank you so much for making this happen, and thank you to you, our viewers. See you next week, top of the week.